put into that record, because on the phone we have a journalist called Mark. Hello.
Hi.
Hiya. Right, we were saying before we was rudely cut off. A few emails are coming about you as well. One says, it says, "Hi chaps, I thought you dealt with so-called journalist well. He sounded a classic bit of disinformation, gasping at ridiculing truth seekers. One love," and that's from Tom O'Malley.
Right.
Can you answer that?
Well, yeah, I work for actually, if you don't mind, I'd rather not say who I am, but I'm not ready to phone.
Just your own thoughts?
But this story is actually being put around every newspaper in Britain.
Okay.
And it's one that I've become familiar with. And I have no disrespect at all for Holly and her mum. And that girl, I think it's quite plain that she was abused, and she was very probably sexually abused. Okay? But what we're getting down to is the brass tacks and what you can prove and what you can put in a newspaper. And that's very, very different to what people would like to see, in a paper or being broadcast on a radio station.
Yeah.
Or on a telly.
Yeah.
It's unprovable and it's actually quite dangerous as well, because the people behind this, earlier on, I mean,
it was on. Let's make it clear, it wasn't my programme. It was the Tony Legend show. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's shocking the way that things are fed. See the fellow that's naming names. You can't name names unless you've got concrete evidence, right? And the problem with this story is, I mean, I'm going up defence of Mark Daly. I mean, I don't want to make too much of a big deal that Mark Daly's involved in it. He's a guy who will, if you thought that he had a good story that was going to expose people for doing some really bad things, he'd do it. I mean, anyone that knows him would say, well, he'd do it. There's no question. It's laughable to think that his boss said to him, "Oh no, you can't do it, therefore they won't do it," or the government said, "Oh, Mark Daly, you can't." It's just a lot of rubbish, right?
Right, but can I just cut you there and say my point before, when I said about the Iraqi war, when I mean, we look at it now, and it's okay, but weapons of mass destruction, we was told clearly by, America and by our services that they were there, and that's the reason why we're going to the war. And it turned out they wasn't there, and people knew they wasn't there. So people can't.
Listen, I actually totally agree with you there.
So you can do that.
No, but the thing is, there is no evidence. What happened with the weapons of mass destruction was that the evidence came out that it was actually it was bullshit. Pardon me for swearing. But,
yeah.
But what happened there was that what they looked for, they didn't find anything. I mean, it's totally different. I mean, see in the instance of, can we actually talk about this sheriff? A sheriff in Scotland is actually a very important guy. He's like a magistrate.
Yeah.
And he's actually already an eminent lawyer. So to actually chuck around.
No, just because he's a lawyer doesn't mean to say he's not done no wrong in the past.
No, but listen, I'm going to go further and say that we can't prove that he done it, therefore we won't run the story. What I'm going to say to you is that he didn't do it.
Well, if he
didn't do it, don't buy into this. He didn't do it. You're actually in danger of wrecking some guy's life. He didn't abuse this girl. I'm not going to get into this, but there's evidence that he didn't.
But like I say, if he's such a big lawyer, then why is he not producing this evidence? Because obviously he knows how the law runs, so why not be doing something about it proactively?
Why would he drag himself into?
Because he's got his name to save.
Because he didn't do it.
If it was me, I'd want to save my name, I'm afraid.
I suppose there's different ways of handling it. Sometimes ignore it, go away.
Maybe it'll come to that. Sadly, unfortunately for him, maybe he will get dragged into this. But that lawyer did not abuse that girl, and I feel so sorry for the experience that she had, because she was certainly abused by someone, but she wasn't abused by like me, you, and everybody else. She was
okay, let's play devil.
People,
Mark, let's play devil's advocate. I take on board your point, and I don't agree or disagree because I don't know the story well enough, so I can't have any opinion whatsoever. But you got your platform here to say your view, and that's the whole idea of independence. But if to turn it round, if it was true, and it is the biggest scandal to hit Scotland since I don't know what.
But it's not.
But no, but turn it round. Just imagine, just like when the weapons of mass destruction, well, nobody would go against that. You just imagine if it was true. Here you are, going for the wrong person. Is your career, can you look at yourself in the right way? Because obviously time will tell whether this story's going to come out in some way, and it's going to be proved or disproved in one way, isn't it?
Are you Paul?
Yeah.
Paul, listen to me.
I'm listening.
How long you've been a journalist or a broadcaster or whatever, but see, if you've been in the job for 10 years and someone came past you with a story, I know I might sound a bit arrogant when I say this, but if you had been in the job 10 years and someone came past you got,
absolutely,
you wouldn't run it.
No.
We wouldn't be talking on this radio show just now.
No.
See, if I was talking to the BBC, they wouldn't be running this story. You'll actually reflect 10 years from now, you'll be looking over your shoulder and thinking, oh, right enough, actually, that guy was talking sense. Because
absolutely.
You need evidence.
I agree with you.
There is no evidence in this case. As I keep saying, this girl was abused. But what's going on is, see all the unprovable stuff. Personally, I think all the unprovable stuff, which means unprintable, you can put it in your paper, the unprovable stuff, I actually think that didn't happen. You know, I think that she was certainly abused.
Yep.
Something's going on. I don't want to get into people's medical histories. I don't want to go into, you know, I don't understand why all these things have come forward. But when you start talking about this guy and that guy and that woman and that woman and that guy and the problem we've got here with evidence.
It's a hard one. It's a hard one.
The victims have got Down syndrome, you know, so it's difficult. It's a difficulty that you've got with the reliability of the evidence, you know, and you know.
But it could be right, and that's a whole. I mean, honestly, I don't know the story. I'm only repeating somebody else's.
You know what? It's 1 in a million. It could be right, you know, but but you cannot go. See, if you were a credible. So I don't mean to insult you there, right? But see, if you were a radio station that had lots of money behind you, you wouldn't be even running what I'm talking about just now, because a libel suit would come out that might shut you down, you know. But no one's going to actually.
It's funny. We've been threatened quite a few times by people with libel suits.
Yeah, but you won't. But no one's going to actually do it because there's no point.
McCann's did it to us once.
Yeah, well, no wonder, right? But no one listen, because you don't have any money to pay out, so you'll probably keep.
But surely there's a principle there, whether there's money or not, there'd be a principle.
No, it's all about money.
Listen, see, when you talk to me about principle, have you ever checked out a single fact that you're broadcasting?
That show, I presume he's done lots of research, and like I say, I don't know the story well enough to talk about it.
Do you know what the electoral register is? Do you know what the register of birth, deaths and marriages is? Do you get those certificates? Because they're fact, right? And see the facts that you will get from electoral registers.
Do you know what, Mark?
Deaths and marriages, they will debunk that whole story.
Mark, you're true there. I don't know you from Adam. You come along, you say you're a journalist, you diss the station, even though we've got a listenership which blows out the BBC and it's across the world, and you come on here, it's quite smart. Smart-assed is a word I've come across, and that's not being too harsh on you, because you must realise you do that, and that's, you know, you're a journalist, so you should be have a thick skin.
Listen, I'm not.
But
come across as smart-ass. I just happen to know what I'm talking about. That's all.
Fair point, mate. You take care. That was Mark, who has a good point to say. Oh, does he? What do you think? Let us know. Studio@manchesterradioonline.com.